probably seen the buses around through the years. And we started with 2 minibuses, and through the years it grew, and today we operate 70 vehicles, and we have locations in Largo, Orlando, and Miami. We operate charter bus, scheduled bus services, as well as contract transportation, like employee shuttles and that sort of thing. And I got involved locally here, volunteering my time on appointed boards. In about 2010, the local coordinating board for the transportation disadvantage was the first one, and I still volunteer on that board today. And I was on the Pinellas Sun Coast Transit Authority board from 2012 to 2018. And I'm now back on the PST board, but now as an elected official. So kind of some of the trends that are occurring in transit is pre-pandemic. Transit ridership was trending down, and there's probably a lot of reasons for that. I mean, the economy during that time was pretty good. Gas prices were down, and that allows people to make different choices on their mobility options. And then pre-pandemic or post-pandemic rather, it's been very, very, very slow to come back, which kind of causes to wonder, kind of really what is sort of the future of transit, long term. I don't have a brilliant answer to that question necessarily, but I can just sort of give you my thoughts on that. Is that transit ridership has been declining, and if you look at PSTA's statistics, they reached in the last 15 years they reached their peak ridership in 2015, which is about 14.5 million trips a year. Not 14.5 million passengers, but one trip. So that's called an unlinked passenger trip. So every time you board on a bus, that's considered a trip. But in the big scheme of things, that only represents about a little over maybe 2% of the population of Pinellas County that actually uses transit on a regular basis, which is really not a lot. So, well, why is that? It's people are going to choose transportation options based on two things: whatever is going to be the safest and whatever is going to be the fastest. And also, since that time frame, we had this really disruptive thing called Uber and Lyft, which decimated the taxi industry, and it's also been a disruptor in the transit world as well. I know several people, a few people who live in my neighborhood, and some family that lives out in Phoenix, that either don't have a car at all in the household, or have a car but choose to Uber and Lyft most of the time because it's not unaffordable for most people, and it's very easy and quick to get around. Where if transit can get you from point A to point B the fastest, that's what you're going to do. But people's time is more valuable than their money, and they're always going to choose what is going to generally be the fastest and most convenient for them to do. And we're not too far off from three technologies really converging here, which I think is going to dramatically change the way we all get around in the not too distant future. And that is robotics, energy storage, and artificial intelligence. And when those three things converge, you're going to start to see autonomous taxi systems that are completely change the way that we're moving around these days. And the challenge that I think that transit has going forward is it's not flexible, right? You put a bus line, and rarely does it change, and it has a origination point and a destination point. And regardless of what the traffic is, passenger capacity, it's static and it really doesn't change that much. Versus these other platforms are extremely dynamic, and they're constantly changing based on passenger demand. And I think transit has to move to that sort of a model if they're going to be successful long term. And PSTA, we had a board workshop today where we talked about this quite a bit, and we're going to have some committee meetings to try to drill down on that further to see how can transit become more flexible in that way. I'll give you an inner-city bus example that probably everybody could relate to. Everybody knows what Greyhound is, right?
Yeah.
Well, for decades, Greyhound was the legacy bus system in the United States. And they owned everything. They owned the buses, they owned the terminals, they owned the stations, they owned the maintenance facilities, they maintained the buses, they hired the drivers, they did everything. Well, that was a lot of capital for them to carry. Well, through the years, that started to really catch up with them, and they were struggling to remain competitive and profitable. So they went through a number of bankruptcies and ownership changes, and it seemed like every time a new company would buy them, they would go, "Oh my God, what do we get ourselves into? How do we offload this thing?" And Greyhound was also very heavily subsidized by the government, as federal government, as transit is. In the bus industry, we often refer to Greyhound as the biggest dairy farmers in the bus industry, because they were just so heavily subsidized, and that's in no way disrespectful to the dairy farmers. And then something happened about 15 or 20 years ago. A hybrid model came in called Megabus. Maybe some of you had heard about it. And they showed up. It was a European company. They showed up with brand new double-decker buses. And that's all they owned was the buses. They didn't own the terminals. They didn't own the stations. They did curbside pickups. And then they contracted all of their other services out. And then they started to just eat Greyhound's lunch, okay? And then Greyhound tried to reinvent itself a few different times. Some success, some failures. And then fast forward till about 7 or 8 years ago, and a company called Flixbus starts up in Europe. And they quickly grew to be the largest scheduled bus service provider in Europe. And they didn't own anything. They were purely a technology company. So they were the Uber and Lyft disruptor of the intercity bus industry. So then they brought that model over here to the United States about five years ago and started operating. And then what they would do is just contract with private providers to provide the services. And they would establish the routes, they would do all the marketing, they would handle all the fare structure, and then just hire companies to operate the routes. Well, very quickly, they ran Megabus pretty much out of the country and ended up buying the carcass of what was left over of Greyhound. So I think it's that sort of technology and artificial intelligence that transit really needs to kind of be looking at going forward to kind of remain relevant in the future. So that's kind of my sort of thought on that. And I know I've talked to Keenan a few times here about, you have some Jolly Trolley services in this area here, and there's also other companies out there that will do what's called microtransit. And you can take a square mile radius, a 2 square mile radius, whatever geographic area you want to block off, and say, okay, you go to a company like Transloc or Via, and you could say, we want service anywhere within the zone. And it's a mobile app, and you pick a fare structure that you want, and somebody can call up a mobile app, and it's almost like an Uber or a Lyft, but in this zone. And the artificial intelligence will just tell them, well, there's another person to pick up over here, and it will just manage all of that for you. You just say, I want service, I want to make sure that there's a vehicle available every 5 minutes if somebody calls, or 10 minutes, you pick whatever you want. And then they design the system for you, drop in a certain number of vehicles, and then they just kind of manage it, just sort of hands-on. So this is kind of some of the trends that you see coming forward here. And so just as you look at what your options are for this downtown area here, there are definitely some neat things out there to consider. And I think the future is going to be, who really knows when all this convergence is going to happen, but it's out there and it's being tested. It's just really kind of a matter of, I think, when the infrastructure is ready for it and the regulatory environment is ready for it. And I think that those technologies will push the regulatory environment just like Uber and Lyft did. You remember back not really all that long ago, you had all these towns and counties and some states trying to ban Uber and Lyft, right? You can't do it because you had these entrenched taxi cab companies where it was a couple $100,000 to buy a taxi medallion in New York City if you wanted to be a taxi operator, right? Yeah. Well, they came in and they just said, well, forget all that, right? That's not the way it's going to be anymore. So now you have this complete new regulatory structure that allows all of these shared ride things, and it's completely changed mobility. And that's going to happen again in the not too the not too distant future. So.
I asked them to come down because I was thinking with relating to the DDB and our little tiny piece of Clearwater, but we have this ginormous park opening with the 10,000 seat auditorium, and they want to do 100, 200, 300 events a year. In your opinion, with all of that, and then an older bus station right downtown,
right.
And you even talked about potentially, having aerial drones. So with the Coachman Park and the terminal, do you see and forecast some of this technology just completely changing the way things are currently they just are?
I personally think that they will. I think that you're going to see two worlds sort of collide here. The transit world is so heavily subsidized by the federal government. And whenever there's a downturn in the economy, you see the federal government throw huge amounts of money at three things: the post office, Amtrak, and transit. Okay, and the challenge as I see it on the federal funding side is they will give you capital dollars, but they don't give you operating dollars. So it encourages big capital spending projects, and once they're built, you're sort of forced to operate them almost into eternity. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good. But if you look at a lot of the legacy rail systems, for instance, around the country, many of those things have decades of deferred maintenance on them. They can always find money to open up a new rail line, but to rehab the old ones is another thing. And rail ridership, rail works well in a couple of cities, but that's really about it. So I do think it's really going to dramatically change mobility in the future. So, where does transit fit into all that stuff? That's one of the things that PSA we're trying to figure out going forward. One of the concerns that I have is that you see the trend since 2009 is that staffing levels are up, budgets are up, vehicle count is up, but ridership has been a downward trend. And how do you reverse that? How do you reverse that? So, and ridership this year is going to be up compared to what it was last year. I mean, 2022, which was the first full year of charging fares again post-COVID, was the lowest ridership, at least in that 15-year look-back period for sure. It'll be better this year, I'm sure, than what 2022 was. Is it going to be anywhere near it was in 2015? I don't know. Probably not. But even that in 2015 probably represented maybe 2.5% of the county that actually used it on a regular basis. So, it's for me, it's kind of like a return on investment thing. Is how do we scale it for the population that's using it and make it serve that population as the best that we possibly can.
Any questions from the?
Yes, I'm not sure how if what I'm going to bring up relates to your expertise, or I'm trying to get some more information about Drew Street and the plans, because as a local, I try to avoid that street because it's very slow. And I've noticed there's a small percentage who've been screaming that people are going too fast, which is traffic management, from my understanding, is mobility and traffic moving rather than making traffic to stop. Heck, we could put bumps along the road and people have to slow down, and it takes 3 times as long to get from one end, or people who are coming for the big event. 10,000, you get an average of 2 people in a car. You're looking 5,000 cars coming, and there's only 2 ways. Cleveland is killed because there's no way you can go through that. That didn't tie into this. It's a different group, different plans. So what do you think the fate of Drew Street is at the rate it's going?
So you haven't seen it. So there's a plan for Drew Street. Have you seen that presentation at all?
Is it on the drawing board? Is it going to happen, or it be changed?
So I think if I may, I think you're going to address this later today, right?
Okay.
So
But I would still love to hear what you have to say about it.
Okay, so I'm also on the Florida Balance Board. So we had a presentation on this at our last meeting, and we gave FDOT a lot of feedback on those plans. So the Drew Street is a challenging thing because there's 3 jurisdictions involved in it. You've got, at the end closest to US 19, you've got the state. And then in the middle, you've got the county, and then you get to downtown, it's the city. And there's various pots of money that are feeding into this. So I will not remember all the design features here without having a presentation in front of me, but it's basically from downtown out, I think it was 2 lanes with a bike lane, and then once it got into the center part, the bike lane shifted around a little bit, and then it was 4 lanes, beyond that out to US 19. So the concerns, the board gave Florida DOT a lot of feedback relative to the bike lanes, and then there was questions about when the traffic study was done. If it was done in 2021, I think, when there really was that really a full recovery from COVID. Yeah. So are the traffic studies, how accurate are they? And I heard that just the other day that Senator Hooper put something in the budget to stop that project until more traffic studies could get done. So something's going to happen there. I don't really know exactly what at this point, because you've got some competing interests there saying, well, we need to do more traffic studies, and then you've got you've got others saying anything we do is better than what it is now because it's so dangerous for cyclists and pedestrians and automobilists as well. So that's kind of where that's at. I can't give you a date certain or exactly what the final design is going to look like.
People are thinking about it.
Yeah, it's definitely, everybody knows it's a problem, and something is going to happen. When, exactly what it's going to look like, I'm not 100% sure.
Did you have a question, Terry?
Yes, back to the ridership. What do you do, or what do you have planned to encourage people to take the public transportation? Is there some sort of plan to do that?
It's kind of what we're talking about now, actually. So we have, we're looking at doing something for veterans, where disabled veterans could ride for free. Okay, which I think, what that'll do for ridership at the end of the day, I don't really know, but I think it's certainly a nice outreach to the veteran community, and certainly a benefit for them for everything that they've sacrificed for us. And we're going to be doing what's called a community bus study, which we do typically about every 5 years. And we talked about that at the work session today, because in my mind, this could potentially be one of the most important studies that we do in the history of PSTA, because between 2015 till now, there was 6 million trips that didn't get taken on PSTA. We lost that many trips between 15 and 2022, okay? Where'd they go?
Yeah.
Why aren't they, did they buy cars? Are they Uber and Lyfting or shared ride? Is it e-bike? What is it? Why are they not, if we don't, in my opinion, if we don't have the answers to that question, then how do we adjust and scale the services going forward? So to me, that's really, really critical. And that will hopefully give us some of the answers to those questions, is how do you do? I personally think it's, just in my opinion, like I was saying earlier, that it has to become more of a dynamic system than just simply a static system. I'll give you an example of what FlixBus does. Is we operate routes for FlixBus from Orlando to Miami, with several stops along the way. And it drives our operations department crazy, because FlixBus is always changing the origin and destination on those routes, constantly. Because they're moving the stops to where the demand is. Mm-hmm. I mean, their survival requires on operating with as full buses as they possibly can. So that's a model that somehow I think transit has to sort of figure out. Okay, we have this bus line from point A to point B, but, if we're only picking up so many people here, well, what if we move the stop here? And how do we do that in kind of real time and communicate that to the traveling public? So I think that's sort of the model that we need to be working towards.
I want to thank you for coming. I think we could ask you questions for another hour, but unless anyone has another, but it was very informative. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And you're right down the street, right? If somebody wants to come visit you,
Yeah, I'm right over here, so it's not.
the county courthouse.
Yeah, right over here, so you can walk there.
Thanks for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, my pleasure. All right, take care.
Okay, we have another update from Mr. Chris Cook.
You got it.
Coachman Park update. That's because they phonetically put it there for me.
Perfect.
I'm cheating.
This will show up on your screens. Oh, well. There we go, perfect. Thanks for having me back. It's nice to see you all again. It's hard to believe it was 2 months ago already that we were talking about kind of what the overview, what the picture of the grand opening of the park would look like. And so today, we're here to provide you with just some of how that's been colored in. Obviously, been a lot of different people working on it, so we appreciate the cooperation with Dr. Matthews' staff and all the CRA staff, and really all of the entire Parks and Rec department, Marine and Aviation. I could go on and on. You get something of this magnitude with Coachman Park, and it's the entire city's involved with making this grand opening a success. So I just get the opportunity to kind of walk you through it, but there's many, many, many people responsible for it. So the last time I was here, we went over, again, the overview on how we took the concept of Clearwater Celebrates America for the 4th of July, and then we put that over the course of 7 straight days for a grand opening. And so I'll just walk you through some of the different things we're doing each day. This map that you see in front of you, so this is our first iteration that just shows all of the different types of activities that can happen down at Coachman. We're going to be doing every single one of those through the course of the grand opening, but obviously not all at the same time. It is a park, and we want people to enjoy the park. But our grand opening really gives the community a chance to see all the different types of activities that can happen down in there throughout the rest of the year. So as I walk through, you'll see some of the things on the map will be in certain spots on some days, and others will be in different locations. We are working currently right now on having individual daily maps that will just help us as we plan and prepare. So the Wednesday, the 28th, is the official grand opening. We're going to do a ribbon cutting at 5 p.m.
28th
We'll have
of what? 28th
the
of?
28th of June.
Okay, good,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. So we are 60 days away.
Wow.
So
It's exciting.
I don't have the hours down, but there's people in our office that have it down to the hour. So yeah, that's very exciting. So we have the grand opening at 5 p.m. There'll be music going on down there. There'll be just a lot of different activities, and we really want to introduce people to the areas of the park that will be open and available for the public all the time. We're thinking of doing some T-shirt giveaways for the first kids that go onto the playground, and you know, just a bunch of different types of activities on that first day, and then there'll be a free community concert within the sound area. So on that the 28th, which would be the Wednesday, and Thursday the 29th, there will be free community concerts within the sound on those 2 nights. So then as we move from Clearwater celebrating Coachman Park and the grand opening into celebrating culture and diversity on that Thursday. I think you guys have the rundown in front of you, but we're trying to get multi-cultural musical acts and working with different groups that are going to create just a really great environment down there as we celebrate the culture and diversity that the city of Clearwater is known for. Friday would be the first night for ticketed concerts within the sound, but as you can see, we still have a lot of free community programs that will be going on, not limited to the partnership we're working with the YMCA on to have community exercise and fitness classes down in the park. So being on the waterfront really just offers a really unique place to be able to be outside, enjoy the beautiful park that we have, and participate with others in wellness programs. We'll have market vendors there throughout the day on really all Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It says a beer garden. It's actually going to be better. You can't quite see it on the map, but it's going to be a beer pier. So the old pier that sticks out there, we're going to create that into a little craft beer area where people can have a nice time enjoying the waterfront, or adults can, at least out on the beer pier. With food trucks, one of the unique things we're doing as well is Parks and Recreation. We're trying to tie in our entire department. So we have summer camp that'll be going on at that time. So we're going to bus over summer campers from the local rec centers. And we have a guy's name's Corey Thornton. He does some uplifting and motivational musical things. So we'll be able to have kids kind of go out there, enjoy the park while doing something that's really beneficial for them and the community. And then with that, Friday being known as Clearwater Celebrates Music, there's free community concerts in the lawn, or the green. I have to get rid of the lawn from my vocabulary.
Yep.
In the green area, there will be free community concerts going on really all throughout the day until we get to that point where it transitions into the ticketed concerts within the sound. Saturday, very similar to Friday. Those obviously are going to be our more heavily trafficked days. So we have some fun promotions. We're working with our Neighborhood Services Division on really focusing on different neighborhoods around Clearwater to come and enjoy the park. So that'll be a little unique to that day. We'll have a 5K going on that morning. So Tunnel to Towers organization has been doing races in our community for a long time. They've moved up their annual November race to be on the 4th of July. And so it's nice to have a built-in audience that will be there for that, as well as all the other people that want to run in the first ever, new Coachman Park 5K. And then again, that evening, we'll conclude with a musical concert within the sound. Sunday is a chance to celebrate our Clearwater's Hispanic culture. I know you guys talked earlier about the Cinco de Mayo, or am I saying it wrong? The Cinco de Mayo event. I can't remember the name right now. Salsa de Mayo, thank you. So we'll be working with them on helping us with the grand opening as well, bringing in salsa dancing and really just celebrating the culture in a multitude of ways. There's local folklore groups, there's regional salsa bands, so it'll be a really fun night celebrating that. That Monday then is celebrating wellness with community wellness walks, doing some volunteerism and volunteer cleanups in the park on that day. Having the blood bus down there, just things that we think can get people focused on wellness on that Monday. And then the big one on Tuesday, which will be the 4th of July, which has always generated a large volume of people coming in through downtown to watch the fireworks. So we'll have a free community performance by the Florida Orchestra that will be going on that evening. And then it'll headline as the sun goes down. People get anticipating the largest fireworks they've ever seen in Clearwater, which will be right over the waterfront. So one of the things that's right on the heels of the transportation talk that you guys had, we will be offering a circulator system going through that weekend. So we're in the process of finishing an RFP for transportation that'll help connect all the different parking locations throughout the downtown that our parking division's working on. We'll have stops and locations to pick people up and drop them off right at the front door. So at least right away, that's not part of like a regular every day or weekend kind of a thing, but we'll be able to get some real good data to see what the ridership is like, how popular it is, how used it is. But we want to take away any barriers that people would have to say why they wouldn't want to come down to the park on the grand opening if I have to park too far away or anything like that. We want to just take away barriers and offer people opportunities to get down there and see it. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Any questions?
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Any?
No, he answered the question.
Will the old building on the old city hall, will the demolition be completed by then, or?
I've learned over the years to know what I know and to say I don't know when I don't know. I will say I hope so. I know every day I see there's more and more of it coming down, but I don't know the answer to whether or not it'll be
And are you going to time the sprinkler system for right at the 4th of July moment?
We're 1 for 1 so far at doing that at events. So we will do our best to make sure no sprinklers come out
Okay, good.
in the, during that week. But
Thanks for the presentation.
Sure, thank you very much.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, but it's okay.
No, go ahead.
Just one question.
Yeah.
How many parking lot there is around? Because you're talking about to have a bus that goes in a loop and so on, but 5,000 cars,
Yep.
it's a lot of cars.
Yeah, fortunately, on evenings and weekends, when some of the parking garages are emptied out, it gives us a lot more parking within a few blocks than people think. So we're going to focus those stops on where the largest amount of cars will be able to park. So I don't have the breakdown today that says how many spots, in each location, but I think it's somewhere around 2,500. 4,700. So, and I know it's an easy number to say 2 cars per, but the actual metric that we use is much higher than 2. It's usually around like 3 to 3.5. So that helps you kind of realize how many spots you'll need. And we've done the 4th of July with 10, 20,000 people in the past.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's for sure.
people figure out, when they want to be somewhere, they'll get there.
Be a good problem for you to solve.
Yeah. But thank you guys for the
Thanks,
opportunity.
thanks for coming. All right, next item, 4.4, the March 2023 financial statement. Ms. Lopez? Mrs. Lopez.
Good evening, Ann Lopez. This is my first time saying my new title, but I am officially your CRA Senior Manager.
Yay!
Thank you. So what I have before you today is your March financials, and unfortunately he's not here, but I do again want to thank our treasurer for meeting with me to go over financials. So for the month of March, the DDB spent $118,722.36. Those items are listed out in your agenda item. And I do want to just call out some information. For the month of March, for your marketing category, the DDB had allocated a total of $445,636.99. Of that, you have paid $214,254.43. This is statements that I have on your actual agenda item. And an unpaid balance of $231,382.56. In your marketing category, you still have $64,000 remaining that has been unallocated. So if you get any more marketing requests that come forward, that's kind of your lump that you guys have left to work with. For your business assistance category, to date, when I created this item, you had not allocated any money for business assistance grants, but you did have other items within that category. So there was around $20,000 that was spent and a little over $75,000 that has been unspent, and there is still $100,000 remaining of unallocated in your business assistance category. Policy and project work, same thing. There was nothing allocated. We don't really have anything projected to come out of there, and you haven't spent any money in that category. Your balance for the month of March, your ending balance is $659,161.37. Any questions?
Good job.
Good job.
The pennies are adding up. Any questions from the board? No?
No, I think we got
When you say remaining balance, that's not what's available to be spent. That's,
That includes what has not, that includes how much money you have left over, unallocated and allocated. So in your marketing category, for example, you guys have given, take one that's on here, the Ukulele Festival that they just had their event in April. You've allocated so far a little over $10,000. That's incorporated as unpaid because when I created this item, it's still unpaid.
Yeah.
Although I can't tell you between when I created this and now it has been paid.
So in essence, we have 65,000 more or less for marketing that we
Yeah.
are free to spend, 100,000 for business assistance, and what was the amount for policy?
About 22,000.
22,000, so break out the checkbook. Any citizen comments? Okay, thank you, Ann. Oh, we have a
There was
comment?
yep.
Come on up.
Yeah.
Sure. I think this might go to this council for the citizen comment. I'm just wondering, for business assistance, which council do I go to about small business assistance?
You're standing
Yes.
right in the right
So
spot.
we have had the conversation. Unfortunately, where her location falls for Tiny Paws, it actually falls outside of the DDB's boundaries.
Oh, I do?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I was in.
You could move downtown.
Yeah.
It may happen, okay.
Yes, so we can have more conversations about that, but the CRA and city council would be where you want to have those conversations.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, great. Thank you, Ann. Can I get a motion?
I motion to approve the registration detail.
The
The
2023?
March 2023.
Okay, good.
Second that.
And I have a second. So Kiara made the motion, and Mr. Shahab seconded it. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor? Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you, Ann. Okay. Looks like we have a new thing here. Presentations regarding completed projects and special events. Actually, we did this last month. The time limit is 5 minutes for presentation, and it will be enforced. There'll be a big red light and water falling on your head. Questions from members follow each presentation so as not to reduce. Anyway, we'll ask questions afterwards. First up, Pause on Parade. Hello, Vicki.
Vicki Shire, CR Manager. This agenda item is to do a report out for the Pause and Parade event that was held on December 17th, 2022 at Station Square Park in Cleveland Street. At this time, I'd like to introduce the owner of Tiny Paws, Aries Kirkpatrick, to report out.
Again, hello.
Just a reminder to everyone, don't talk till you get up there, because the mic won't pick you up back there. So,
Okay.
start over, please.
Hello.
Hello.
I did bring things I wanted to show. I like to touch and see things. It's a little more personal than all things that's going on. Let me share these. Thank you.
Sure.
So the event was Pause on Parade. It had little over 400 people.
Wow.
And over 100 dogs, 140-ish dogs in the parade. Let's see here. The purpose of it for me was to bring together the community and give them just a fun holiday event. Animals are such a huge part of our lives, and noticing that there really weren't many animal events is a big reason why I wanted to do it. All of the money from it went to the rescue groups that were attending, and we had 10 of them. We had a costume parade. We had vendors, so you could do your Christmas shopping and your holiday shopping. We had local businesses doing free hot chocolate, Carolyn's Kitchen. It supported small business too, and also artists, the acrobats, the DJs, everyone that I had hired to be in the event, the stilt walkers. So that was the event, and it got really great reviews online. My advertising reached almost 20,000 people, and I just was filled up with thank yous and what a great addition they thought it was, and they hope it happens again next year. So there's that. So yeah, that was Paused on Parade, and it was successful as far as I've seen. So thank you for allowing me to do the event for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Have you had people ask if you're going to have another event?
Yes. They want this event again next year, That was a big thing too. And they asked me if I was putting together any more dog events, and I do have some more ideas, like barking lot sales, and just different things that, especially with the summer coming, it would be nice, I think, to have maybe every 3 months we could have something in downtown where it's like a dog's night out. To, again, support the local businesses. We can have vendors, maybe do an ales and tails is another one I had an idea for, doing a micro brew competition, and it's all the proceeds that we get for the donations to be in the competition and to judge it go to the local rescues. And that's what I want to support is the local rescues, and our community of veterinarians and animal stores. So yes, that I'm coming to you with new ideas.
Right.
So trying to get through this construction, and then after that, you'll have my full attention. For
You need more
ideas.
sled dogs for the construction.
I do.
Right.
I do, yeah.
Right.
All of Gulf to Bay.
That's right.
My little Gulf to Bay sure does.
Did you by chance get any good video footage?
Yeah.
A video. I had a
Snippets.
photographer there. I have these. I did bring these. I didn't know if I was supposed to do photos, but I did bring some photos for here. They are online as well.
So,
Nice.
okay, good. Because do we have permission to borrow your photos and potential videos for some of our own promotion for more events?
Yes, I'll put
Beautiful.
together a packet and send it to you digitally.
Gentleman back there, Mr. Santiago. Oh, really? Well, there you go. Guess I'm out of the loop.
And I have all pictures too, Eric.
It was a great parade. It reminded me, when I moved down here 20 years ago from a small town in Indiana near Lake Michigan, the home of Orville Redenbacher, believe it or not, we used to have the popcorn festival for 4 days, and an amazing popcorn parade, believe you know.
Wow.
Anyway, it reminded me
I
of that.
love
It was, I think it's fantastic.
It kind of sounds pretty great too,
It was really great. You can steal that.
right? Popcorn parade. Well, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And here I wanted to show you also, as you can see on the bottom, there's also your advertising, but you're on here as well. I wanted to show you the sign that I did for the street and parking lots.
Very nice.
So,
Wonderful. Thanks a lot for what you did.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Vicki, 4.6 Party Pirates? Who doesn't like a parade?
Our mateys, I'm back again, Vicki Shire, CR Manager. This agenda item is to do a report out for the Party Pirates on the Rocks Pirate Invasion. That was held on January 28th, 2023 on the 400, 500, and 600 block of Cleveland Street. At this time, I'd like to introduce the owners of Timeless Entertainment, Jake Pastorino and Becky Anaya, to provide the report out.
Beautiful.
While she's figuring that out, I'm Jake Pastorino from Timeless Entertainment. Seems like a long time ago when we had this
It
event.
was, but it was, whew.
Okay, so we have a small video. We hired our own videographer to put this on.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
So, go ahead and stop that. Let me see that again. Okay, so we were asked to co-sponsor this event with Stacey Myers from Party Pirates on the Rocks, who couldn't make it tonight. She is the nonprofit who did it a couple years ago on just the 400 block. We extended it to three blocks. You guys know all the details of that. Great family event, right? I think that was the biggest takeaway that we got from it was that, you know, we're in our 40s, we have kids, all our friends have kids, and again, we're not going over to Tampa to deal with with our kids at Gasparilla. So this provided an alternative, you saw, to dress up as pirates, to enjoy the Gasparilla, be a pirate for the day theme, while still having tons of things to do for kids and families. And you could enjoy the restaurants. We had a local brewery, we had vendors, we had multiple bands. It's hard to pinpoint a number of people that actually were there, but I think at a certain point we had about 2,500 on the streets. Again, we didn't have anybody pinpointing and counting, but it was pretty full. Our parade, we had about 250 volunteer pirates march from East. Is that the name of the street that's right by your business, right in front of Keaton's business, all the way down to the end there by Capitol Theater? It was a great little parade. Let me get into some of the details here. So we think, for us, the feedback we got was a positive experience, right? That was what we wanted to create. We wanted to get people down here and have a fun experience in downtown. Remove some of the stigma of scary downtown, which it's not scary. It's just people haven't been here in a while, and let's get down there. We have great local businesses. We have vendors that are, providing, their services and things like that. And so, one of the things that we've discussed a lot of, and part of our business on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in Clearwater, is consistency. And so, people want to know that this is going to happen again, right? They want to know that everybody knows last weekend of January it happens in Tampa. You've known that. If you're in this area, you've known it for years. That's what happens. And so what we're trying to do is put our own little footprint here on this side to say, okay, cool, we also have an alternative in this area. You don't have to cross the bridge. You can bring your kids. You can still have a good time down here. And that's one of the things that's most important for us, is that consistency and being there each year and providing that same type of service each year. And, we've had many discussions saying probably, within 3 or 4 years, if we're able to do it, it could probably be self-sustaining by that point, with sponsorships and things like that. It's hard to go to the proper sponsors after doing it once and saying, well, we only have a tiny little sample size of what we could, what we have here, when, year after year, 3 or 4 years, now it's a lot easier to come in and get some sponsorship money to be able to fund it on its own. A few little things that, for us, just a little extra, communication. Obviously, this is our first time, so dealing with some of the CRA stuff and all of the different departments was challenging, right? As easy as these people make it, it still has its things to get across. But for the most part, we didn't have any issues with parking. We didn't have any issues with overcrowding. It wasn't overcrowded. It wasn't empty. It just kind of fit. We had 2 great bands, tons of kids, a lot of people, and on the follow-up, asking for more of this. We hit, marketing-wise, we hit well over 10,000 people over social media. We did an EDDM campaign. If you guys are familiar with that, it's an every door direct mailer, and we chose specific neighborhoods to drop our little flyers in, which we think really made an impact, for guests, things like that. We're running out of time here, but I think, I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions for me, I think overall it was a pretty good event.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
We'd love to see it again.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
I have a question. Rumor has it, yeah, that was
You cut the water off.
making you pay attention. Rumor is Johnny Depp might be a pirate next year?
That's a rumor. Yeah. We're talking to his agent. It's tough to get to him directly, but one other thing is, now with the new park, that brings in a whole other element of bringing ships in, maybe involving the mayor and the pirates taking over the city, something like that. So we have a lot of big plans for the future, and it's kind of endless with this.
And just
with this
for
new project.
everybody's edification, how many events do you promote a year?
Oh, we're up, I mean, we do 60 a week.
60 events a week.
Yeah, we're all over the area
So
here, so.
you see Clearwater as a good opportunity to keep doing more events.
100%. There's a lot of opportunity. I just think there hasn't been a ton of great quality, events. I don't mean quality in like, there's tons of small events that do really well, but the big stuff is Tampa and St. Pete, and nobody has this. This is beautiful, and there's an opportunity here for a lot of different types of things. Pause on parade, like all these different people. There's a lot of great ideas here. So, anyways,
Well, thanks for what you did and what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And Eric, do we have that video?
That Vicky has that.
Okay, good.
We have a couple different versions, so I'll get them all to you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. And one more 4.7, Vicky, the Girl Gang Women's Market. Pinellas Girls.
Pinellas Girl Gang. Vicky Shire, CR Manager. The agenda item is to do a report out on the Pinellas Girl Gang Women's Market that was held on March 5th, 2022 on the 600 block of Cleveland Street in Station Square Park. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jessica Vegas to provide the report out.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. First, I just want to start off by saying thank you. I have written everything out because I am not a public speaker, but I just wanted to thank you guys for giving us a home, for giving the women's market a home, and for Vicky for bringing us with her from Sea Dog Cantina. Also, your generosity and belief in us has been everything. It's been so impactful for the women in our community. Through the investment of paid promotion on Instagram as well as in-person door-to-door advertisement, we saw our attendees grow from 300 at Halloween to 750 at the March 5th Women's Market. We had some great press prior to the event, including an interview with Ann Kelly on 105.5 The Dove. We also had the privilege of being interviewed by Sean Daly of ABC Action News, which aired on February 27th. We had a couple of live interviews, and then this one ran every couple hours.
The Girl Gang of Pinellas County, 100 small local businesses owned and operated by women.
And this morning, a lot of the gang is hanging out with our own Sean Daly as they get ready for Women's Market next weekend
This is
in
a
downtown
lot of
Clearwater.
energy at
Sean,
6
talk about
a.m.
strength and awesomeness in numbers there.
Oh, you better believe it, Dee O'Reilly, the Girl Gang of Pinellas County. 100 vendors this Sunday, downtown Clearwater. Starts at 12, free, open to the public. This is an awesome gang here. Make some noise, everybody!
This was 6
First of all,
a.m.
the gang leaders,
Maybe 5:30.
how did you guys
Double
start
espresso.
this?
We decided to just start a little gang of the girls in our community to get everyone together and to offer emotional support, friendship, and sisterhood.
This is Ashlyn, right?
I own Evergreen Plant Experience. It's a common, uncommon, rare plant nursery in Dunedin, Florida.
Hey, Jazzy, tell me about your business.
So I am Jazzy of Something Jazzy. It's all custom items that you see here. Everything is handcrafted and handmade by me. Everything can be customized and it's very affordable. Gifts, holidays, you name it, I can cover it.
You have charcuterie for dogs. Charcuterie for dogs, guys. Look at this.
Baskets.
Big baskets. All right. Okay, show all the Girl Gang again. Guys, we'll be here all morning long. We got everybody. We got more Girl Gang members coming up this Sunday, downtown Clearwater. This Sunday, downtown Clearwater. They'll all be there. You got to go to it. It's going to be awesome.
That was pretty cool. That was amazing. They actually would like to, we would really love to come back next year for Halloween, for a Christmas market, as well as another celebration for Women's Month, and they would like to join us as well as Fox News. I would really like to get some coverage before the event on Cleveland Street to also highlight some of the small businesses. We intentionally don't have food trucks to drive business to the restaurants on Cleveland Street. So these are the images that I took. I'm a professional photographer of the event. All of these images, as well as promotional photography that we did prior to the market, as well as photography of Halloween, has been given to Vicky. They are yours. Do with them as you wish.
Oh, my question.
We had, there was just a wide variety of so many different people. We got great traffic from the Pinellas Trail. All of our vendors they were so extremely happy to be a part of this market. We had vendors come from Pasco, from Sarasota, just to join us. We had one vendor that brought all of her stuff with her in hopes that we would just find a space for her, which we did, because we admire anybody that wants to drive all that way and take a risk on being a part of our little crew. The graphics. So these graphics were splattered everywhere, from Clearwater to Palm Harbor to Dunedin. They were all over social media. And as you can see, the Clearwater Downtown Development Board is right there. We are so proud to be sponsored and encouraged by you guys. Our main form of paid advertisement was Instagram. So we reached almost 20,000 people. This is only a portion of what we invested. I believe that this says, where is it? $119.99. 15 days prior to that, we invested $300. And we did not take a screenshot of that before we reboosted, but that was okay. It was totally worth it, and it's definitely something that I feel like is a worthy investment. We had actually spoken to some attendees that had returned from Clearwater from traveling abroad, and the awe in their faces, if I could have gotten that on film, to see them come back to Clearwater after decades and see what's happening. It was pretty inspiring. There's definitely a buzz within our community that is all about Clearwater. We are very, very grateful to Blair Valentine with the Market Marie. She has definitely set a precedent and brought attention to the possibilities of fun and family and community to the downtown Clearwater. Am I cut? Is that it?
Blame it on them.
Thank you, guys. You're amazing. Thank you. I can close. Jewel was actually kind enough to invite us to the Celebration of Music Festival on June 30th. We have spaces for 25 vendors. They were gone within 24 hours. Our vendors are extremely happy with the city of Clearwater, and they want to come back. And we hope that we can just keep growing with you guys.
Let's see, maybe there's some questions here. Anybody? Questions? No?
No, it was great.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue.
All right, next up is requests for funding. We have two requests tonight. Time limit 5 minutes with the little red light. And we'll hold our questions till after the presentation. First up, 4.8 is Emily's Restaurant for sign from the Business Assistance Funding Request. Ann Lopez.
Good evening again, Ann Lopez, Senior CRA Manager. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, I'll get there. This item that I have before you is a request for approval of a business assistance grant to fund the fabrication and installation of a signage for Emily's Restaurant located at 101 South Garden Avenue. This request aligns with the DDB's 23-25 work plan goal, which is to retain current businesses and attract new ones. Staff is recommending funding this grant in the amount of $10,000. And I have the owner of Emily's, Anthony Alazakis, here to answer any questions that you may have.
Well pronounced.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Any questions, or, I mean, we're trying to get signs for the outside of the building, because we have small ones right now, and people don't see us on the corner there, with the bus station right next door. So.
Do you have pictures of the signs?
Maybe
Sorry?
on Fifth.
Oh,
Yeah.
What year did you guys acquire the property or the business?
We've been there 14 years now.
14 years.
Right. So,
Just one question, why you chose the one without lights? You chose the second
without
quotation.
lights?
Yeah, there is one quotation that has like it's a lit sign.
Well, I think we were told that lights aren't allowed on the signs. Am I
Oh,
correct?
really? I didn't know.
Per code,
Oh,
lights
okay.
aren't allowed. So, I mean, I didn't want to go more expensive, but I didn't have a choice because of no lights. So,
It was just a curiosity if it was aesthetic or any other reason, that's all.
no.
Thank you.
So I have a question. That's what the sign is going to say, restaurant?
Yes, on both sides of the building. I'm right at the corner,
Okay.
so,
Right to the point.
Yeah.
That's great.
Do you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
just breakfast, lunch,
Okay.
and we'll do special events for dinner. Yes, sir.
How much are you putting in for the signs?
About 1,800,
1,800?
yeah,
And then we're putting in 10,000?
correct.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Best eggs in town, I'll say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Is there citizen comments? Unless you have more you want to tell us about. Do you have any thoughts on what the sign will do for your business in downtown?
It will increase it quite a bit because people even at the bus station don't see a small sign that we have. And I've been coming here for 8 years at the bus station, but never saw you.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same probably for Fort Harrison as they drive by.
Well, a lot of them, when they come off the buses, walk different directions, and, I mean, it's an easy building to see, but unless you know it's a restaurant,
Yeah.
it's out of sight, out of mind, I guess, you know?
Right. I think it's great. Okay, good. Citizen comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one more question, sorry.
Not for him, but I
Oh,
just want to
okay.
find out, how does that impact our 50/50 policy?
The 50/50 on Ann? I see she's coming to defend me.
This is the signage.
As part of your policy, you don't have a 50/50 for business assistants.
The 50/50 you're probably thinking of was in the digital grant program.
Yeah.
That was in the digital advertising pilot program, which you'll get an update on.
So we don't have to match.
Correct.
Okay.
I do have a question. You've been there 15 years. I'm just curious, is there a reason you never allocated funds to improve the signage?
You wait till after he sits down.
Yes, all of a sudden, gentlemen, 17 years.
I changed signs a couple of times, but to code, which were maybe that big. I didn't go any bigger because, matter of fact, I got written up 2 months ago on a smaller sign that I had out there, so I had to take that down on the one side of the building.
The window signs.
Yes. So, that's why I'm coming to you guys, and hopefully we can work something out.
Yeah.
All right, so if we do give you this money, how are you going to let others know that we helped you with that sign?
I could put a nice thank you plaque in my restaurant.
Great.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
It's all about us after all. Free eggs for everybody.
I do have a suggestion.
Sorry?
I do have a suggestion.
Yes, go ahead.
Do show up at a city council meeting and communicate,
Yes.
because passing ordinances that affect expansion of business, the visibility of the business, especially in a city that is basically is not all that jazzy, it should be communicated. I mean, I'm saying this so the city councilors can hear it, but passing too many ordinances, it just hampers businesses. I mean, of course, downtown Clearwater is not Las Vegas with all the lights, but those lights do say something and invite people to come, as opposed to being dark and not allow light in the sign. just doesn't
I
make
tell you
sense.
what,
Can I respond?
Yes.
some of the city council people have given us suggestions and stuff like that, so.
So I have breakfast at Tony's place every Saturday for the last 4 years.
Right.
So myself and others have been assisting, and I understand about all the ordinances. I actually had to pretty much push back on one of the ordinances that really severely affected small businesses, which is the lighted ribbon lights that small businesses usually use because it's very cost effective and in a way to light up your business. And so I understand that plight. I am the only small business owner on the dais, but it is a fight that I'm willing to take on. And Tony and I always talk about it, and I will be helping him as well. But it's not an easy thing to do. We're talking about bureaucracy. We're talking about a lot of ordinance with a lot of opinions. But it's something I'm willing to take on.
Thank you.
That's
Fantastic.
awesome.
That's good.
And we did change part of the code recently, and I think Lena was a big advocate for this, allowing signs for businesses on two sides of the building if there are two roads.
And that's what we requested.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's great.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so is there, against the code for foreign put out a sandwich, like those signs, sandwich board signs on the sidewalk?
I had one up, and the gentleman brought me a permit for the city. It's 25, I didn't know it, $25, so I'm working on that right now to put that in. I just took that sign down the other day because they told me it was illegal because I have to have my permit. So I took that one down too.
I paid 25 for mine.
Excellent planning. Thanks,
Thank
Tony.
you. Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Well, I motion to approve the funding request from the Emily Restaurants for
As is?
$10,000.
Okay,
I second.
okay, so we have a motion to approve the entire request as is from Kiara and a second from Ray. Any other discussion? No?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, you have a new sign.
Do show us once it's done, we'd like to see it.
Yes.
Do show us a picture of it once it's done, we'd love to see it.
If only it had lights.
You can just go.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, moving on. 4.9, Ann. Excuse me, Vicky. Sorry. This is the living the culture, and you're going to explain.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Vicki Shire, Sierra Manager. The purpose of this item is to request funding approval for the 2023 Living the Culture Pride in the amount not to exceed $10,500 for marketing and city fees. The City of Clearwater, in partnership with the Office of Diversity and Equity Services, is launching an event series called Living the Culture, which I'm very excited about, by the way, which will celebrate the beauty and culture and diversity and the value of embracing living together in harmony. The Living the Culture Pride events will take place over multiple days in the month of June to help activate the downtown core by bringing new pedestrian foot traffic to the 400, 500, 600 block of Cleveland Street and Station Square Park. Staff recommends funding the Living the Culture Pride grant request in the amount not to exceed $10,500 based on the Downtown Development Board's DDB funding policy. Funding for these events will be used to support city fees in the amount of $2,500 and marketing expenses in the amount of $8,000. This event aligns with the Downtown Development Board's current work plan to fund various special events in the DDB district and increase awareness of downtown as a destination. Funds for this grant is available in the marketing category for the DDB's 2023 budget. At this time, I'd like to introduce Strummon from Office of Diversity Services to answer any questions.
Thank you, Board. I just want to say, too, that we are been honored to work alongside CRA to help brainstorm and bring a lot of this this Living the Culture series to life. They've been very instrumental in helping and you know, just being a part of just planning these great events. So we just hope, you know, that we can continue to move forward with these events. We think that, you know, for the downtown area, it'll once again create a lot of traffic, but also just bring a lot of positivity to the downtown area. So With that said, once again, if you guys have any questions.
Questions?
No, I attended it, and it's I did attend the interaction at the, what was that, about a month ago.
With the trolley and all that? What are you talking about?
No, for the living culture.
Ah, okay.
This ties into the murals, correct?
Yeah, go ahead.
So that was the AI art. That's different. This is a new event that's taking off a new series.
Oh, does it tie into it, or it's a complete different?
Totally different.
Huh? Even better, right? I like it.
I guess you
You too?
So you're planning to have repeat events, correct, as part of all of this?
So we're going to start off, we're looking at this month coming up with our diversity event, Taste and Ethnicity event that's coming up in May. So we'd like to, once again, continue to have some of these events regularly as we continue to kind of partner with other partners within the city to try to bring these events to life.
And are there other partners in the city involved with finances, et cetera, or is this just a DDB?
Right, for this event, there's, we're focusing on the DDB. My office has provided some funding with our earlier event, but we're limited in the scope of funding that we have. So, we are kind of reaching out to see how we can continue.
So basically, this is a city to DDB coordination effort, and you're running the event?
In a sense, in partnership with some of the other departments within the city.
Within the city?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question maybe for Ann on the finances. Based on what we just approved the last few months for various organizations, so just so we're kind of all on the same page, I think it's great. But if we approve this ask, we're doing it not from an organization outside the city, actually to the city. Is it going to fall in, maybe this is more Elise, does this fall into the policy we just created?
I would say yes. I mean, as the city, we want to be held to the same standards that any of these other folks are
But it would
as
be
well.
a different event than the snow at Christmas, which we could also fund.
Yes, so while this is still coming from the city, this is from the Diversity and Equity Inclusion Division, specifically for this. So your policy is per events.
Per event, but if preference to people who have had one or two events rather than people who've had more. But it is per event, per the last change.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board?
I
Kiara?
do have a question. So can you give me an example, like which kind of event you're gonna organize? Like, because here you're asking $10,500 for, but I don't understand, maybe it's not described
Since
very
you're
well.
partnering, I'm afraid to come up and help answer some of the questions, since I am kind of doing some of the behind the scenes too. So for the ask is for the marketing piece of it, because we're actually marketing certain communities in the LGBT community, reaching out to those communities as well, so that we're making sure that we're reaching out to everybody in that community. And then also we're asking for the city fees, which is the police, which the type of events we're having, we don't know what or how many police officers will need to be engaged during these events. One of the events that you're asking for is a celebration to kick off Pride, which is June 1st. Then June 3rd is a glow party down the corner block, which the local merchants are all on board and very excited because they're going to stay open a little bit later just to be able to provide food and services for the people that join the glow party. Then also we have wellness aspect of Pride Yoga and Station Square Parks will help activate the 600 block and the 500 block. And the local merchants once again are excited because it's going to bring foot traffic down as well too. And then, I apologize, I said yoga, and then June 29th, which is the night camp, which is actually the Pro Shop, which is one of the longest and oldest standing clubs in Clearwater. So we really wanted to help make sure that we were supporting local merchants and businesses, but also supporting the Pride Month and supporting the LGBT community as well too.
Okay, thank you.
And then just a little about the Living the Series, it is a series, so it's 4 different series that we are celebrating, but this is the one that we were asking to help the DDB fund
4 different series, meaning,
throughout the year. So it's to celebrate all cultures, Living the Culture Series. I know someone asked what that was, and I just wanted to explain it. It's to bring culture and diversity to downtown Clearwater, which we really need to help be seen as being very cultural and diverse in downtown.
what are the other series going to be? Or the other?
The Taste in the City, we're really excited about, which is May 20th. May 20th, the Taste in the City. Taste in the City. So lots of performances, food, craft vendors, spoken word, dance performances, and all free for everybody in the community to come in and enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited
How is
about that.
that going to get funded?
By you?
Yeah, so it's a partnership, once again, it's been tremendous. We have typically had a diversity day event, which it's kind of been more of an employee event. So, with this partnership, we're able to incorporate more of the community, as well as continue to offer things for our employees as well. So it's kind of been a staple event for my office, but now we're able to do it more on the grander stage.
Who do you think would attend? I mean, who is your audience that you would have attend this? Is it people from the community or people from outside the community or both?
I think both. Yeah.
Okay.
Any,
So what's great too is for some of these other events, we do have a group of people in the LGBT community that's going to help support these events too. Trevor's team, they're a great group of people that are helping us promote these events so that we make sure that we are getting a really well turnout in all communities in Pinellas County. So with the Glow Party, we're excited about is there going to be a DJ, there's going to be dancing, there's going to be music, there's going to be food, glow-in-the-dark photo booth. So just a great way for everybody to come together and celebrate. Pride Yoga is yoga for everybody. They start to unwind with meditation, and then they're also doing like a silent disco with a DJ that has a huge following named DJ Taz, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's DJ Taz. And then for the June 29th nightcap, it'll be a fun music, dancing, and just lots of celebration. So lots of celebrating and bringing everyone together for these events.
I think maybe Shahab's question was, if I could clarify it, was are we going to expect to see you coming back to ask for money from the city for the food event?
No.
Oh, okay.
And what's that's number 2, and the third one is going to be?
Living the Culture Juneteenth, and then Living the Culture Hispanic Heritage Month.
Just because our budget's getting, we just want to know.
No, we're for the May 20th event, my office has funded that event. So we wouldn't need to come for that one.
Just curious. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Citizen comments? None? A motion? Can I get a motion?
I move we request funding for the Living the Culture Pride in the amount not to exceed $10,500.
We have a motion from Ray
I'll second it.
and a second from Shahab. Any further board discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Was that a yes or a no?
No.
A no. So we have 3 yeas and 2 nays, I guess they say, so congratulations. Old business, 5.1. Appointment to fill the vacancy. This ought to be fun. I see speakers in the room.
Yes. Good evening again, Ann Lopez, CRA Senior Manager, Senior CRA Manager. We'll get there.
SCM.
We'll get there one of these days. Everyone knows who I am. So we have, obviously, the last meeting, we informed everyone that Caitlin Jammo, their law firm moved. She was no longer eligible to serve on the board, so we do have a vacancy open. I would like to thank...
Before you start, sorry to cut you off like that, but are you planning to talk about the other vacancies that'll be coming too?
I will.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
So yes, her seat was open. I do want to thank the board for all of your due diligence. We had I spoke with a total of 7 people. I do have 5 candidates that I've provided you bios for today. And with all the candidates that I've spoken to, I've explained to them that you as the board will be electing or appointing a person tonight to serve a term through December, and that in July, August is when I will begin your election process, that I will reach back out to all of the applicants to see if they're interested in running, that we will have technically we will have 3 seats. There'll be 2 seats available plus continuation to fill this seat for the next 3 years. So with that, I will, what I have asked is I will read a bio, and then I will ask the applicant to come forward just for a couple of minutes to introduce themselves to you and just explain to you why they would like to serve on the Downtown Development Board. So the first applicant that I have is Mohammed Akbik. Everyone's getting last names with me today. He is an attorney based out of Clearwater, graduated from New York Law School's magna cum laude, and was an associate editor for the New York Law School Law Review. Mohammed received his bachelor's in science in political science from the University of Tennessee and studied international law at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. Mohammed is enlisted in the U.S. Army and achieved the rank of sergeant. He is currently in office in the U.S. Army Reserve's JAG Corps. So with that, I would like to bring Mohammed forward. Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Hello, board. Mohammed Akbik. I want to apply or offer my services to be on the board. I've been here in Clearwater since 2014. I've had my law office in downtown Clearwater, and my whole business model has essentially been centered around working with the local businesses and the people here in Clearwater. I have worked with many of the people that are here tonight, and I do believe that selfless service and giving back to the community is very important. It's one of the reasons why I did join the military, and I do acknowledge that it's an honor to have that opportunity. It's a privilege, not a right. And so I'm humbled by the opportunity to come here and be one of the applicants to do this. I do believe in the mission of the board, helping local businesses and helping the people who make this community what it is to be more successful, to come and get money for signs and for events. And I was taking, he's not here now, but the one gentleman that, hey, we're in our 40s now and we have kids and we want an event for our families. That was great. That's right. I fit right into that demographic. And so family friendly events and anything that makes Clearwater, it's an exciting time to be in Clearwater right now, as everybody knows, and there's a lot going on. And so whatever I can do to be a part of that and to help and to serve the community, I'm excited to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we taking questions from the board, Ann?
No.
No. Thank you.
Your next applicant is Erica Cerruti. Erica is originally from Milan, Italy, and is co-owner of Joffrey's Boutique in downtown Clearwater. This boutique has been open since 2006 and is an international high-end clientele. Erica's helped through advertising and long collaborations with DuPont Magazine and others by doing events and fashion shows to bring many people to downtown Clearwater, and has always pushed and cared for downtown's development. Erica thinks that she would be a great asset for the team and is very excited about possibilities of being a part. With that, I would like to introduce Erica.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. So I just met with Dr. J. Matthews, talking about the development of downtown, and I'm very excited to give to Clearwater. She was saying that there was a possibility to apply to be part of the DDB, and you guys are doing a great job. And I just thought, since I've worked with events and I've helped bring people downtown in the past, and obviously for me the development of downtown is important as a person and also as a business, I could just give it my all to help out. That's about it. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next applicant for your consideration is Jennifer Frazier. Jennifer Frazier is currently the Public Relations Officer and Sales Marketing Manager for Shelby Construction. Jennifer is a passionate and dedicated individual with the goal to bring a better quality of life to all that she meets. By using her work-life experiences as well as her educational background, she has successfully advocated locally, nationally, and internationally for a change. Jennifer has been featured as an industry expert on 2 panels in St. Petersburg. She has led an initiative for the Accessory Dwelling Unit Workshop, where she successfully worked with the City of St. Pete and Pinellas County to provide the most informative information to the public with a Q&A for municipalities and industry experts. Before coming to the area, Jennifer was a vice chair of the Paducah Main Street Board, where she was involved in the advancement of historic preservation, tourism, and economic vitality. One notable downtown development project she was a part of was the redevelopment of a large public parking space right on the water to bring a boutique hotel, rooftop bar, and shopping to downtown Paducah area. She worked with the Wayland Development Group, the City of Paducah, officials, local citizens, business owners to ensure stakeholder satisfaction. In addition, Jennifer was instrumental in establishing an entertainment destination center for downtown Paducah. The EDC draws people to Paducah's downtown, strengthens existing local businesses, and attracts new entrepreneurs. It boosts exciting restaurants, hospitality industry by allowing customers to take to-go alcoholic drinks to destination in designated cups from participating businesses, and stroll the historic streets, browse the windows of local boutiques, and watch the towboats on the river. Jennifer holds a master's in public administration and a bachelor's in business administration from Murray State University. She also has listed that her previous board experience was serving on the Paducah Area Chamber of Commerce, served as vice chair of the Paducah Main Street Board, a bank advisory board, as well as a Kiwanis Club. In addition to those roles, she has been a board member for Beyond Uganda, with a mission to see communities develop through empowering women, educating children, and restoring families. She also received the Kiwanian of the Year Award in 2022 for her work in improving the lives of children in her community. And with that, I would like to introduce Jennifer Frazier.
Okay, so she's already told you everything about me at this point that is relevant to this position. I think that I'm an asset in both the education realm as well as the experience. And I just truly do love to give back. I think that it's important that when we work together as a community, we're stronger together as a community. I think that teamwork is probably one of my things that I strive for most in everything that I do, whether it's business, whether it's among committees and things like that. I think it's important to have a strong hold together. I do love to volunteer, and I do have a lot of board experience that I can bring to the table. And I also actually really like to listen to opinions and evaluate them before I make my own opinion. And I think that's important when you deal with the community that you're working in. They need to know that they can trust you, that you're going to actually hear their words that they're saying to you, that they're valued. And so I think that I bring that to the table. Also, I'm a great party planner. I love to do events, and so I bring that experience and knowing what it takes to actually build a great event from small to large. And so with that, I'm just very thankful to be here, to be, just thought of. I'm normally, or originally from Kentucky, moved here in September because I'm shivering because I realized that I hated the cold so much. And so it was time to get to Florida. Our kids were grown, and I set out to do good here, wherever I landed. And so that's why I want to give back in this role. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Your next applicant is Sean Hubbard. Sean completed high school at Florida A&M University High, after which he attended FAMU and pursued a Bachelor's of Science degree in chemistry. Upon graduation, Sean accepted a position as a biochemist for Pfizer in Connecticut. His job there was to research compounds aimed at treating dementia. After 2 years with Pfizer, he happily came back to the Sunshine State for a graduate school at Nova Southeastern University for a medical degree. Currently, Sean practices as a neurohospitalist. His wife is an internalist, and they have 4 children combined, all of them grown. A little envious of that. Sean and his family moved to Florida after 20 years. They selected Clearwater specifically because of the promise it holds for the future. Currently, he is working at Bayfront Health Hospital, but is not renewing his contract and is considering and being considered for a neurohospitalist position at Morton Plant Hospital, as it represents something personally and very near and dear to him, the responsibility and honor of contributing to the community in which he lives. It is in this spirit that Sean is grateful for your consideration as a Downtown Development Board candidate, and he feels that Clearwater is the best city in the world and there's no place he would rather live. He and his wife walk their dog Coda around town and see the potential just waiting to be fulfilled. They see the promise just waiting to be realized, and it is for these reasons that he is interested in to contribute and participate in this dynamic moment, along with his neighbors, toward making our community the best that it can be. And with that, I'd like to introduce you.
I figured if I wrote like a 3-minute piece of bio, oh yeah, the mic here. Welcome, thank you for considering me. I'm very thrilled. I'm a very thrilled and interested citizen, really, of Clearwater. Though new, we came here a year ago, and we've done just about everything that you can do in terms of enjoying what Clearwater and the region offers. I try to, everywhere I go, I'm doctor, and so I like it when I'm not necessarily, in a place like this. And so I heard my title, neurohospitalist. I like that, actually. I love that. I'm going to keep that, just a little background about myself. Again, I'm from Florida originally, Tallahassee. My dad coached at Florida A&M, a couple national championships there. And so I went to Florida A&M University. I enjoyed it. I think the first time when I lived in Florida, I probably didn't choose it for myself. And then looking for training, I ended up in the Northeast. There's a lot of medical training, all concentrated there. And I got more than medical training. I met a girl, and we started putting roots and things. I didn't know it was going to take like 20 years, actually. But my kids got to the age where they started to go to school, and I started pushing them back to Florida. We pushed our oldest to go to USF. She applied to a whole bunch of medical schools, and guess where she ended up? USF. And so I thought, hey, great, this is wonderful. And so that was our first sort of reintroduction, and then we pushed a couple of others down. My son went to Florida A&M, and then we had another daughter who went to art school. Now they've all gone back to New Jersey. So as soon as we got the opportunity to get, I'm going to say, I have to not stay out of New Jersey, but, back to Florida, we did, and that was last year. And my wife said, you can pick the place we go as long as I pick the house. And everywhere we went for vacations, it was all places like Clearwater. And I thought, I don't want to just be like enjoying paradise, which is 2 weeks out of a year, and so let's make it a lifestyle. So that's how we ended up here, and I'm just thrilled about it. I mean, I just can't even really tell you. And I have to tell you this part because it is, I said I'm happy about being considered for the Downtown Development Board. When we looked for where we were going to live, my wife chose the places. She selected someplace downtown in Tampa first, another condo, and on Water Street, and then she also selected this at Water's Edge, and we saw this one second. And then, once we got here, it wasn't just, the condo, it was the beach and the water and all that, and I thought, okay, this is it, period, We put an offer in, it got accepted. We got on the plane and went back up to Jersey, and then, was that 3 minutes? Wow, that was fast. Okay.
Trouble now.
Okay, so anyway, I'll wrap it up by saying quickly that I came back and then I did a FaceTime, showed her downtown, and she was like, oh, wow, what's going on? So we have a vested interest in seeing downtown fulfill everything that it can be in all of Clearwater. So I'm very thrilled to be considered. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Terry just requested that we accept all of them.
All right, your next applicant is Ryan Zulig. Ryan would first like to thank you all for this opportunity, although he is not here this evening. When I did make the call to all the applicants, it was on Monday, and he was actually already out of town, but I do have a video for you once I read his bio. Ryan has always had a passion and love for construction and development projects. He started his woodworking turned home development business, RZ Woodworks, back in 2017. He and his friends hand-built the cigar lounge located at 522 Cleveland Street. He is also heavily involved in the dueling piano bar next door, where they are hoping to open at the end of May, early June. He further plans to develop the space at 512 Cleveland Street into a brewery. Ryan studied business administration with a concentration in management, and during his junior year, he met the owner of a large New Jersey-based building company. He hit it off with the owner, where he became the owner's rep, and the owner took him under his wing, teaching Ryan everything he knew about the business. Ryan's company solely ran the division where he oversaw new construction projects, building acquisitions, refinances, and even the nitty-gritty tasks such as property management, leasing, and the list goes on. The 2 years he spent as an owner's rep gave him incredible foresight into what he wanted to do with the rest of his life, which was construction and development. Being a part of the Downtown Development Board would mean a lot to him, as he cares about his local community and would like to have a voice on the board to implement positive changes to the downtown area. Ryan has put his blood, sweat, and tears into his projects at 520, 522, and soon 512 Cleveland Street, and if selected, will put the same effort into being a part of the Downtown Development Board. Is he on the?
Test 1, 2. Hi, my name is Ryan Zulig, and I'm originally from Mahwah, New Jersey, but for the last year and a half, I've been living in Clearwater, Florida, and I am looking to apply to the Downtown Development Board for Clearwater. I'm the owner of RZ Woodworks, which is my construction and development company. I opened it up 8 years ago, where I've done everything from bathroom renovations, kitchen renovations. I recently knocked down a house, rebuilt it entirely. I worked on my projects in Clearwater, which are the Nash Keys Dueling Piano Bar and Captain's Lounge, Cigar Lounge. I even built the room that I'm sitting in right now from the studs up. 2 years ago, I was the owner's rep for Proud Living, where I worked hand in hand with the owner, everything from changing light bulbs, hot tub filters, general grounds maintenance, the building acquisitions, inspections, and I worked on development plans for new communities, notably a 316-unit complex. So I have a pretty diverse background, and I think that my background would help the Downtown Development Board. I'm looking to serve my community in any way that I can. I love giving back. I've done mission trips to Nicaragua, where I did construction work there for mustard seed organizations, and I just love improving areas and improving my community, especially if I'm a part of the community. I hope you consider my nomination for the Downtown Development Board position. Thank you.
All right, So those are your applicants. What I have provided for each of you at your seat is a ballot that has a list of all the names. And talking with your attorney, what we are asking is for you to make a selection, and then I will collect those, count them, and go from there.
Okay, so we do have opening for citizen comments, correct?
Pardon?
It says here on the thing, I'm supposed to ask for citizen comments.
Yeah, you can have
So is there
citizen
any
comments.
citizen comments? No? Any board discussion? We want them all.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't have enough seats for you.
Okay, fine. So you want us to fill this out and give it to you
Yes.
right at the moment or later?
Correct,
Right now.
Right now. One
We're
selection.
voting in front of everybody and the camera? Can we have like a malfunction with the camera?
It's not like they're looking what you're writing, but yes, these
Not
will
like
be
the
public
SAT
record.
test. Okay, good.
Okay?
That's a good question.
Do you need time to count?
Okay, the board has selected by majority vote Jennifer Frazier.
Well, congratulations. And to reiterate, in 10 months, we're going to have another election with 3 open seats.
Correct, yes, there will be 3 open seats. I will touch base with all of the applicants, all 7 that I have spoken to see if they are interested in running in your general election for for this year.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out and in waiting 2 hours into the meeting. We appreciate your submitting the applications and your concern for the town, and hope to see you in the next run. Okay, next up is CRA updates, 5.2. Eric, Digital Advertising Pilot Program. This ought to be good.
Hello, Eric, CRA Manager. The DDB Digital Advertising Pilot Grant Program is currently live, and we are accepting applications through this Friday, May 5th. The deadline to apply again is this Friday. So far, we have received 7 applicants who have submitted a complete application, and we have another applicant that is in the process of filling out an application. We will be reviewing all of those applications after the deadline to determine eligibility and then award funding. So we encourage everybody who has not applied yet to apply online. And we did also, just so everybody's aware, we did send a mailer out to 265 eligible businesses within the DDB as a way to get information out about this program.
So full applications, meaning the full amount? The 2,500? Or you say complete applications?
Complete applications meaning that they've submitted all of the paperwork. So, yeah.
Can you tell us if they've requested 1,000 or
So the
2,500?
7 applicants that we have received so far have requested the maximum amount of funding of $2,500.
Okay, so we're about halfway there then.
A little less than half.
I got confirmation today from the chamber that they're going to pump it out tomorrow on their newsletter line. So hopefully we'll get more, because the deadline's Friday, but we do have the privilege or right to extend it. Is that correct? Not really.
No. You published a deadline, people relied on it.
So that'll be it. We can do round 2 later if we choose.
We can do round 2 later in the next fiscal year.
Okay, good. Any questions from anybody?
And the application is available at downtownclearwater.com/grants.
Good postcard. Yep. Thanks, Eric. Dr. Matthews, CRA updates.
Jay Matthews, CRA Director. Good evening.
I have one main update, and you've pretty much heard and seen that tonight. We've restructured the CRA to better accommodate downtown, the park that's coming, the Mercado space, and also the upcoming North Greenwood CRA. And Lopez, previously CRA specialist, is now the senior manager of the CRA. And Eric and Vicki are CRA managers. Eric is covering now urban planning as well as information, and Vicki is our programs manager moving forward. We are hiring to expand below the manager level, add specialists and coordinators, and so we'll be filling out, as you'll see. We have a couple of positions posted right now, but just wanted to update you on that. So you'll be seeing new staff people in the months, hopefully soon, to come. And we'll be training one specific person in the role of the DDB person. So,
Is there, do you know how many people you're looking for to fill out the whole?
So most immediately we have 2, and then we'll be going to 3 additional.
And you guys are going to be then overseeing the second CRA as well, correct?
Correct.
Your team, okay. And that's launched
It goes to the county May 23rd.
May 23rd. Any questions?
No, it's great.
Thank you.
That's really the only update I have, other than the great events that you've already heard about that are coming soon.
It's running really smooth, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, 5.3, we have a CRA and city updates regarding the DDB district from ex officio member Councilwoman Teixeira.
So there's been a lot happening, starting off with some significant changes in the city's leadership. We have appointed former Mayor Brian Ung Sr. to replace Mr. Hibbert, and he will be going through the next term, which is about 11 months. He is a former mayor before, so he slipped right in very seamlessly, so that was good. We appointed Jennifer Poirier as a city manager. Negotiations have been complete, so now it's all formalized. So she's doing quite well, great addition to the team. Dan Slaughter, Chief Dan Slaughter, will no longer be chief as of next month, and he will be the city assistant manager. So that's another great addition, so I look forward to this, working with this new team. Regarding Drew Street, I do want to add a little bit to what our county commissioner was talking about, more specific to our area. The area from Myrtle to Osceola will be 2 lanes, one going east, one going west, with 2 very nice, large bicycle paths. East of Myrtle, then it will be 1 east, 1 west, with a middle turning lane. There are concrete dividers along the way. Now, there's 2 schools of thought. There are those who believe that the project that's being discussed is the best option, and then there are those who do not. Both sides agreed that Drew is not safe. City of Clearwater voted 3-1 for the project and wrote a letter of support. The county, however, has some concerns and stated in that letter, and they wanted some more information based on the fact that some of the information that was obtained was prior to 2 referendums as well as COVID. So as of last week, we saw some testing going on. So that's still up in the air, and it's evolving every minute. Senator Hooper is working on or has accomplished, I'm not quite sure, I haven't confirmed yet, he will ensure, or he's trying to ensure, that the funding will not be lost if the project is postponed to do further testing. So that's quite important. We don't want to lose those funds if it goes forward. And so that's basically what I can add to the commissioner's report. And also, I've been approached by several merchants as well as residents who are panicking and concerned about the 400 and the 500 block of Cleveland to be reopened. They were telling me that they were under the perception that the city council was discussing reopening it, and I just want to go on record saying that is not correct. There has been no discussions of that. And that's it. I wish you all a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You have a question?
I have a question. As a private citizen mainly, because I live on the Drew Arian Road and so on. And it's absolutely true. It's very dangerous because when I walk my dogs, it's like, do I gonna be killed tonight or not? But because downtown has exactly the huge park, if we reduce Drew Street to basically one east and one west, how all the cars goes down? Because, I mean, one lane, right now we're already having a ginormous traffic with the 2 lanes.
I don't know if I can speak, I can't, right, because you're.
Or where I can go and find this.
Okay, so what I could say is, that is what one school of thought agrees with you, that it is, again, a third funnel into downtown, right? We funneled Cleveland Street, Drew Street, and Fort Harrison. So there are those who feel, and they agree with you, that is a concern. And then there's those that feel that, that narrowing it to 2 lanes is of most importance. So there's disagreement there, and now it's gone up to the state.
So there's going to be a decision this year by the state?
Oh, it's like
It could
brewing.
be next year?
It's brewing, like it's not.
It may not be this year.
Well, if it goes forward, the actual building will not be this year, the actual, but the process has begun.
So the decision to make a decision has begun.
The decision's been made.
Yeah.
Somebody's just trying to stop it at this point,
Okay.
or slow it down and reevaluate it.
Okay,
I don't know if it's going to go forward.
I see.
Is that part of the Complete Streets program? Okay.
And it's online. You can see this online. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Thank
as
you.
he said, there's state.
It's on myclearwater.com.
Yeah.
It's quite big, 200-page, but there are really nice diagrams.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the end here, Chair's report. I have something. Could you help me? I forgot to give these to you, sorry. I know, sorry. 6.1 All-Star Awards. This is going to cost a whole whopping ream of paper once a year to print. I'm just going to read it, if I may. DDB All-Star Award. This is the qualifications procedures, but before I read the procedures, the whole idea is that, in my opinion, and you guys can all object, but in my opinion, the main thing we do is hand out money to people that are doing good stuff downtown. And every now and then, it seems like we should recognize that with some type of a little award from the DDB. Promotion. And there's also a lot of good people and businesses and organizations and charitable activities going on in and around that don't get much recognition, right? I could list off 15 right off the top of my head. So the idea came from that. I was thinking, well, what a better place. We have a camera. We're going to have a website soon. We could give out awards or not if there's nobody, and then put that as part of what we're doing. So this is the qualifications procedures, and then Elise is going to let me know if I've done this right after I read this. So we may have to come back next month is the point and edit it all out. But this is the general idea to get the ball rolling. So
This is your chance to have input before we
make it official.
work on details.
Yeah, so I thought I would just read it to the camera, and then we'll move it forward from here. So Downtown Development Board All-Star Awards, which the name can change too. I just like All-Stars because I played Little League. Recognition provided by the DDB to recipients that have or are actively engaged within area businesses, events, projects, organizations, and not-for-profits. The awards are to recognize positive impact, legal, and contributive good works that have occurred within the DDB boundaries that are in alignment with and supporting DDB purposes and policies. The awards will initially be paper certificates, hence the ream of paper, allocated from the DDB administrative costs, but can grow into more elaborate plaques, trophies, etc., if and when the DDB allocates funding for such expanded awards. Nominations will be submitted by a third party, anyone, basically. The person can't nominate themselves, right? A third party recognizing such good works. The nomination application must include name, main contact, address, phone, email, applicable dates, type of good work, and a short write-up of what was done and why someone should be recognized. DDB administrative staff will, Ann Lopez, will verify the nominations and ensure recognized party is in compliance with any DDB policies and procedures along with federal or state discrimination laws, Also, before the awards are provided, DDB administrative staff will obtain a release form signature from nominated parties to ensure no disagreements occur with any recognition that we might put forth with the certificates. Recipients will have the choice but will not be required to receive the awards in person at upcoming DDB meetings. Anyway, that's my proposal to the board. Over to you, Ann.
I am open for any discussion that the board may have about the program, to get your feedback. What I take notes from what you guys say will direct conversation that CRA staff will have with Elise regarding the creation of a program.
Anybody?
I think it's great. It's
It's
not
good.
going to cost us too
I
much.
think people should be acknowledged
Yeah.
when they do something very good and benefits the downtown area.
Elise?
I don't have any.
Anything? No?
I'm not, okay. Basically, you don't need a vote tonight.
Correct.
Just get a feel for whether or not the board thinks this is something we should move forward with and work out details.
Is that,
Sounds good.
anybody not want to give out recognition awards?
No.
Scrooges? Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks, Ann.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and then upcoming events. The grand opening of 2 art exhibits featuring the beauty and inspiration of Cuba begins May 12th here at the library where we're at right now, the main library, in case you're watching, downtown Clearwater. Cuba, the Natural Beauty, Photographic Expeditions of Clyde Butcher. He's been here before. Very good artist. El Arte, Echoes of Cuba, featuring local Tampa Bay artists. Exhibits will be on display through October 31st, Halloween 2023. And the next thing and last thing, I think, is, oh, no, there's 2 more. Living the Culture, Taste of Ethnicity from 11 to 6 at Cleveland Street and Garden Avenue. Doesn't have a date, does it? Oh, no.
May 20th.
Oh, that goes into Public Art Walk also, or is that? May 20th, from 11 to 6, featuring various cultural cuisine offerings and amazing performances, a world of art displays, and vendors for everyone to explore and enjoy, commemorating World Diversity Day. And Public Art Walk, presented by the Clearwater Arts Alliance, also Saturday, May 20th. To see all the events happening within the downtown Clearwater district, please visit downtownclearwater.com. And thank you all for coming and attending. And at this point, at 7:31, the meeting is adjourned.